Skara, ya pasó Semana Santa y ahorita estamos en unas épocas recontra importantes, así que tenemos que hacer 4 misiones día por día, así que activo un poco el micrófono, lo arreglo. Chicos, chicas, ¿cómo están? ¿Qué os cuenta la vida? Aquí Vampiro, nuevo video para el canal. Esta vez estamos en un episodio más de Genshin Impact. Y bueno, recuerdas el episodio anterior, no te lo vas a ver. En el episodio anterior hemos empezado a hacer lo que es el intermedio de lo que es la parte entre ir a Sumeru hasta Fontaine, sí, casi me confundo con los nombres. Y pues eso, que hemos empezado a hacerlo, el tema este de la transposición de la Génesis. Ya hemos hablado con un tío que nos ha dado un cuento recontra chido que lo ha interpretado con marionetas de papel, por así decirlo. Y también nos hemos leído una tesis que he tenido que representar con una tesis legítima en Canvas, por lo menos. O sea, bueno, a este punto, si es que no le has dado like a ese video, en serio, ¿qué chucha estás haciendo con tu vida, verdad? Me he esforzado bastante para hacer esa parte de la lectura amena, por así decirlo. Pero bueno, la cosa es que tenemos que seguir a la misteriosa figura que acaba de pasar por allí. Y con misteriosa figura me refiero a nada más y nada menos y nada más que al Skara. Así que tenemos que ir para ver hacia dónde chucha se ha ido. De seguro se ha ido justamente a ver al arconte dentro, no sé de seguro. Vale, nos piden entrar justamente aquí adentro. Así que supongo que entraremos y veremos una semática de Nahida. Cosa que me lleva a hacer lo consiguiente. ¿Dónde chucha está la tienda? Ya me olvidé cuál era el icono de la tienda. Yura, acá está, acá está. Porque aquí Skara no es el único que quiere ver a Nahida. Porque ahorita está disponible su banner rerun. Ahora, lo único que me molesta de este banner es el hecho de que Dori existe. Porque yo no quiero tener a Dori, pero es un riesgo que tengo que tomar. Ya que, si ustedes se acuerdan, cuando estaba iniciando la misión de Sumeru, fui quiqueado por tirar en este banner. Casi me iba a salir esta primera, pero me salió Kiki, así que tengo que vengarme, weón. Es una de las unidades que tengo que vengarme. Son Nahida, Yelan y otra unidad más que creo que fue Jin la que me quitó el raid. Todavía estoy haciendo matemáticas para ver si es que cuál es la unidad, porque no me acuerdo muy bien el orden de los banners. Así que, y esto se lo graba la gente de Saposoa. Día 1 de obtener a Nahida. Vale, me ha salido Layla C1, cosa que siempre está bien tener una unidad más fuerte que la anterior. Tengo como para 15 tiradas más algunas de emergencia que tengo, cosa que esas sí las voy a utilizar. Así que no tengo ningún problema de estar gastando protogemas a loco. Entremos en el santuario Surastán en ese caso. Porque si es que ha entrado ahí es obvio para ver a Nahida. Es que no le veo otra... Claro, acá está Nahida. Era para invocar al Carento ahora que me doy cuenta, pero no importa. Los lugares no afectan cuál es tu suerte. Si no, pregúntenle al Shogun Raiden. Me salió cuando estaba en Luigi. Y sí, hemos venido acá. Como que esas son malas noticias. El weón ya aprendió a caminar otra vez. Eso es bueno.
Sure enough, you're here.
Exacto.
Hey, what are you doing in the sanctuary of Surastana? Aren't you supposed to be laughed at? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the Balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
¿Ya?
A deal? You sure you trust this guy?
A ver, ¿qué clase de persona no confiaría en el Skaramouche? I mean, tú lo pones en la Colombia de 1965 y 1990, o sea, entre esos años, y él te hace un trabajo padrísimo con el Pablo Emilio Escobar. Lo pones en el Chile de 1975 a 1990 y te hace un trabajo padrísimo con el Pinochet. Los pones en la Argentina entre 1974 y 1990 y de seguro fijo te consigue las Malvinas. Lo pones en el Perú entre 1975 y 1980, lo más probable es que Alan García ni siquiera llegue al segundo gobierno. Es que, vaya, ataque, Latinoamérica ha tenido pésimos años entre esos años, ¿verdad?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about.
No pensamos en esas tonterías, weón, no pensamos en esas tonterías. Nosotros más bien estamos esperando tu rerun para obtenerte así
But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Porque la historia no nos permite, el guión no nos permite matarte ahorita. De hecho, antes pensábamos de que te habías muerto con tremendo arqueo que te metimos, pero nada.
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ajá, Nahida te está salvando el pellejo, literal.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Nah, ¿cómo crees? Yo no soy de esas personas débiles.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Como que no hemos empezado de buen pie.
Could I ask you all to please calm down?
Yo estoy calmado. Aira es el que no quiere perdonar a este hijo de puta, menos Paimon.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
Ustedes están acá, tienen el poder guión en su lado. No creo que le vaya a pasar algo a Nahida por confiar en Skara.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Gracias, Skara. Por fin estás haciendo un buen punto.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us.
La semilla ha sido plantada por ustedes en el instante en que duraron sobre Nahida. Así que es 1-0. Probablemente terminen como el Bayern de Múnich. A mí me dolió decir eso porque soy hincha del Bayern.
As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal.
Pero
Even
tengo un
with the
pana que
Palantir.
es hincha del Manchester City, así que no tengo problema. Al fin y al cabo, es fútbol al final del día.
Well, I, for one, have no reason to doubt you, considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time.
Más lore bombs.
The Paladier's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position.
Sí, weón, ahora que lo noto estás más flacucho que antes. Te recomiendo tomar batido de plátano con nuez, le echas avena, vainilla y miel. Eso te da un poquito más de masa muscular. Y echa el chocolate cuando vayas a ir full harto chocolate, por cierto.
Plus, he's a former harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a harbinger anymore?
Lo despidieron por idiota.
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Lo despidieron por no finalizar la historia.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Wow, qué pena. Creo que hasta voy a llorar y todo.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my
Buena esa,
utility,
Eder.
I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't
Siempre hay
like
un
causing
plan
harm
B.
to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Sabes que va a ser al revés, ¿verdad?
Yeah,
¿O la estás haciendo larga?
Nahida, don't listen to him. Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. At least today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Ya.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Confía en Nahida. Eventualmente, cuando cumplamos todas las tareas que quiere que hagamos con el Skara, de seguro ahí nos saldrá recién.
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
What?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Por favor, no me vayas a tirar una teoría al caño. Acabo de grabar un video al respecto. Bueno, el audio para el video que planeo hacer.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that? Mm-hmm. You may remember mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twins' details in the descender category. This is an extremely important point.
Ya, entonces los Fatui son racistas.
It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am.
Lo duro, porque creo que Skaramouche era en un rango intermedio, o era alto, no me acuerdo bien.
He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me.
El Irminsul funciona como una computadora sin el típico buscador de Google. Básicamente es internet sin esos buscadores. Yahoo, Blink creo que también cuenta. El del Opera también.
So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information and should be able to find it more quickly.
¿Y si te engaña?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him! I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Gracias, Nahida.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it. Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help? I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection.
No, es que estábamos persiguiendo el Skaramouche. Pensábamos que te iba a hacer daño.
In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Muy bien, me parece perfecto.
Great, thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
¿What? ¿Desde ya? Bueno, tengo tiempo, así que no me molesta que nos mande allí de frente.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time.
Ahora está más limpio.
Colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Y hay florcitas de cerezo, por lo que parece. Bueno, pétalos de cerezo que estoy hablando. Dirijamos nomás a dónde está esto, el Skara. Parece que nos adelantaste, compadre.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Nahida me pidió que hiciera de niñera. A prueba de balas. By the way.
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards. But right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Yo estoy relajado. Aira es el que está estresado.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru.
No sé si eso sea un portal, o es que el árbol estaba dañado y se dijeron, da flojera arreglarlo, mejor hagamos un portal ahí dentro, y digamos que es una puerta chida. Porque los árboles no deben estar así de huecos.
Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through.
Ya, Skara, vamos a entrar a la Matrix y yo voy a ser Neo.
I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Todo claro, profe.
Fine. Let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Sí, después te aplicaremos un Soul Catcher.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
Skara, la próxima vez que vayas a decir algo, ten en cuenta que puedes tener un letrero gigante ahí que diga sarcasmo. Por favor. Que hay gente que no lo entiende.
We can start now.
Y con gente me refiero a Paimon.
Access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Is this a small sapling?
Es un puerto USB.
Ugh! Darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Muy bien, tenemos que entrar al interior de Irminsul mediante esa entrada USB, por lo que parece.
Wow! So this is the inside of Irminsul.
A Eder, te voy diciendo que sí se parece en algo que sí hemos imaginado. Bueno, que hemos visitado, pero eso no es canon al parecer. Misión de las manzanas doradas 2. El tema de Mona. Allí también había un escenario recontra similar a este, por lo menos en términos de suelo.
Ooh! Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels
Habían
like a
estrellitas
sacred
en esa
place.
misión. Aquí hay un fucking árbol.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Tevat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Ah, ahora ves lo que se siente, ¿verdad?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Está enfrente de nosotros.
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen? what are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost.
Ah, qué considerado eres.
Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Mantenerse cerca. Captado. Muy bien, sigamos a la Skara. ¿Podrías caminar un poquito más rápido? Me estás dando traumas ahorita. Hay una de esas huellas que parece una nota musical.
These sapling things have spread out.
Los fragmentos de la parece que el espacio ha quedado afectado de
Those are
alguna
all
forma.
packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch
Ya,
them.
ya, no lo vamos a tocar. Descuida. Parece que fue transportado a otro camino. Ay, sí, ¿verdad? Tomas un camino diferente. Vayamos por allí entonces. De seguro tocará eso y ya esto, iremos un camino diferente. Continúa explorando.
It looks the same in every direction.
Ese espacio es totalmente extraño, pero parece que el Skara está más entusiasmado que yo. ¿Decía la palabra entusiasmado? ¿What?
No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was
Vale, estamos
actually
cerca por lo que parece. Mientras no aparezca uno de esas huellas que nos teletransportan, estaremos bien.
What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Así es, Paimon. Ahorita no es el momento y ya estamos enfrente del árbol de la sabiduría.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
Indeed. Y tiene como esas cosas que de verdad simula bastante la Matrix. Este es el corazón del Irminsul. Toda la información de ese mundo circula por aquí.
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
For a good time?
Ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
No solo no se ha resistido, también parece que se le da muy bien estar al frente. ¿Sería este su trabajo dentro de los Fatuis? Primero las historias de Akaba y Sawada. Ahora esto. ¿Qué tipo tan curioso?
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Nada de secretos.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Sí, es básicamente trasladar de archivos a otro lugar.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Bueno, si tú insistes. ¿Estás hablando telepáticamente?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Vale, entonces estamos toda la gang.
What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
Sí, algo como en Lucario y el misterio de New. Estamos hablando mediante el aura. Supongo que no quieres molestarle a la Skara.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great. So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Al güey le vendría bien una terapia. Además parece que su punto fuerte es hacer tareas extrañas para otros.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand.
Su verdadero potencial, claro. Porque sabe que es bueno, pero no sabe que eso significa ser bueno. Algo así.
Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Ojalá. ¿Tiene que ver con su pasado? Las traiciones, eventos que tuvieron lugar en Inazuma.
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Es que compresión lectora, compañeros, compresión lectora. Shout out a mi papá. Lo cierto es que vislumbré algunos recuerdos cuando me encontré con Hypatia en el jardín Dijai. Mientras a Nahida vimos lo que viste en la mente de Skara.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Traumas del pasado que hasta ahora no supera. Todos tenemos.
Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
En mi caso es no salir a la calle.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Hasta el NPC más insignificante tiene su historia.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination.
Como he
At
estado
least that's what they thought.
Ya, gracias, Paimon. Como he estado editando esa parte, lo que tengo entendido es que el Kabukimon ha estado viviendo una vida tranquila con la gente de poder de Tatarasuna, que lo estaban cuidando y demás. Esa gente de poder estaba bastante relacionada al tema de la forja. Pero sucedió algo. Un día, todo se volvió un caos. Hubieron nubes negras, hubieron ataques y empezaron a haber desconfianza entre esas personas de poder al punto de que empezaron a matarse entre sí. Y pues de seguro todo ha sido un caos, no lo pudo soportar y él lo tomó como una traición. Es ese evento lo que ha causado que Skara se vuelva lo que es actualmente. ¿Recuerdan en energía lo que Akaba y Sawada habían escrito?
Oh, how interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gese got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatara Suna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
Sí, estamos hablando de ti en tus espaldas.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
Tenemos todo el derecho a tener secretos.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
¿Cómo va la búsqueda?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Lo que sí tengo que admitir que me agrada es que hay partes del Irminsul destruidas, o sea, que están huecas, cosa que encajaría perfecto con mi teoría de que hubo un ataque al Irminsul y que se pudo haber perdido información por ese ataque.
Wait, how did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Es que, al parecer, el Irminsul también tiene la wiki de este juego, por lo que parece.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself.
Por dos.
And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
¿Encontraste algo? Ah,
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
sí, información
Mr.
sobre ti, ¿no?
Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
La voz de Niwa me es bastante familiar. Creo que ya la escuché antes. Ese señor que estaba a cargo de la fragua de Tatasuna y también era heredero de la técnica Ishin. El tatarabuelo de Karehara, ¿no? ¡Wow!
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. People are gainfully employed, their lives have purpose, they are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy.
Lo de Mérula cristalizada probablemente sea una referencia a Fire Emblem Three Houses. No voy a decir nada porque son spoilers, pero igual voy a decirlo. Las armas que hay en ese juego son esqueletos de un dios antiguo.
Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Ya, ese tiene que ser el inspector.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces.
O ese es
He
suboficial.
would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
Debe ser el suboficial entonces, porque en la historia y en las notas de la tesis mencionaban que hubo una conversación entre ellos dos hablando de forja y demás.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of
Esther.
Inazuma. And it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
No me suena ese nombre en las historias que hemos leído.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir.
Puede ser
What
el
do you
tipo que no
mean?
tenía nombre en la tesis.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate.
Aceptaron una técnica de forja. Y consecuencia de eso, todo Tatarasuna se está yendo al carajo.
And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do.
Nozomu fue el que se fue para el otro barrio.
None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope.
Nunca llegó.
But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
El señor Escher, por lo que veo, tiene una vestimenta bien europea. Probablemente este conjuro venga de Fontaine.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine.
Soy lo
Are you sure
fucking
you're not a
máximo.
little overqualified?
Es que yo le sé a los detalles.
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat?
Yes.
Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Y de paso quitarse esa nacionalidad.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatarasuna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Lo va a apuñalar por la espalda, ¿verdad?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
Ya sabía.
You...
And he's dead.
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. there is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
¿Dottore?
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment.
Y la flojera es el padre de la ciencia.
If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity.
Bueno, de hecho,
I'm
esa
a Fatui
filosofía.
harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
Ya sabía.
The Fatui? Who?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it. That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet.
Sí, Escher o Dottore ahorita es Asori y el Niwa es, si mal no me equivoco, el tercer Hokage de la aldea oculta entre las arenas. No me acuerdo el nombre correcto, pero sí, creo que es así la huevara.
Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat.
And he's dead.
I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity.
What a heel.
Jester,
What a
I've
fucking
completed
heel.
the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating
Pierrotto.
Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was.
Pierrot era el líder, ¿no? El barboso, viejo sabroso, como dice la comunidad. Ese Pierrot están hablando, ¿no? O el estudio Pierrot, el que hizo Naruto y Bleach.
I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
De hecho, el estudio Pierrot sigue haciendo animes. Hace mucho que no oyo hablar de ellos. Sí, creo que el doctor te ha traicionado a ti en vez de que tú traicionaras a la gente de allá, ¿sabes, no?
Hey, are you alright?
Se dio cuenta de la verdad. Eso fue lo que sucedió.
Dottore. Dottore. Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
Sí, de hecho, tiempo fuera. Sé que no debería ponerle tanta atención por estas cojudeces porque es un juego, es un universo que no existe, no esté chingando, pero tengo entendido que esa mierda del incidente de Tatarasuna sucedió hace 500 años, porque el que murió fue un antepasado de Karehara. Eso quiere decir que los Fatuis en general tienen vida eterna, o sea, tienen una manera de ir contra el tiempo, tienen más de 500 años, 1000 años. Algo tiene que hacer de que esos Fatui tengan más edad de lo que tienen. O sea, tiene que haber, o sea, hay muchos personajes aquí que tienen más edad de la que aparentan, pero, o sea, es un poquito lo que me está golpeando el cerebro ahorita, porque no me entra el cerebro como Cajos Dottore pudo existir en épocas anteriores. En todo caso, él tendría más experiencia de la que uno sepa. De hecho, la academia se estaba creando cuando Dottore estaba allí. ¿En qué tiempo? Vampire, por favor, tranquilízate. Son videojuegos, no existen. Es un universo creado por alguien que se ha fumado una grande. No estés chingando. Vuelve a la actuación. Él estuvo detrás del incidente de Tatarasuna.
But why do we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Y si no lo es, algo es 100% seguro. Que él ha matado a Niwa.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
Así que aquella traición en realidad es una mentira que ha creído durante cientos de años. Formar todo eso es parte del experimento de Dottore. Y otra vez, cientos de años. Si nunca fue traicionado, entonces está todo en su imaginación. ¿Qué pasaba con él? Esto choca con mi teoría de que estamos siguiendo el mismo camino de la hermana. Porque sí, hay personajes que nosotros hemos interactuado que ella también ha interactuado, por lo que parece.
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
Ok. Cambio la teoría fumada número 3. Tendré que editar eso también en el video que estoy preparando.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Ok, Skara, te quedarás aquí un rato esto. Nosotros iremos a comprar un helado, qué sé yo.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Experimento fallido, por eso será.
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as a mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future.
Un experimento con 500 años de creación. Wow.
Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process.
O sea, el corazón de Niwa hace como esa vaina que tiene Iron Man, ¿no? Eso es lo que mantiene a Skaramouche vivo, ahorita. Es un corazón falso.
The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?"
La carga fue mayor de lo que esperaba y sobrevivió. Claro, porque él está hecho para recibir esa clase de energía. Él fue creado para almacenar la energía de una gnosis, para empezar.
The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for. He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants." The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life.
Un corazón.
A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
O sea, ahorita no tiene corazón. No tiene algo que le dé sangre.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Yeah. Really fucked up. Él pensó que había sido traicionado y abandonado por su mejor amigo, y el sentimiento de aquellos recuerdos hizo que sintiera remordimiento. Fue por eso que decidió vengarse a las 5 escuelas de Reiren hace 100 años. La venganza nunca es solución correcta, mata el alma y envenena.
Yes. Only if you understand this can you choose a new path forward.